Assalamu alaikum and a very good day to all students. All right, so this is a pre-recorded video. So if you have any inquiries or you have any question in regards to the content that you are going to learn today, you may ask in the WhatsApp group, our class group. Yeah. Okay. What we are going through today is the concept or this reading technique called as skimming and scanning. Right. So anyone has any idea about what does it mean by skimming and scanning? Right. Okay. Table of content. Firstly, we are going to look at skimming, and then after that, scanning. And we are going to proceed with another part of the lecture, and that is called as contextual clues. So we are today we are catering this, recognizing the structure of a passage. Read newspaper article to recognize the structure of passage. I believe that the technique of skimming and scanning is the prerequisite to recognizing a passage or recognizing paragraphs in a text. So we are going to learn skimming and scanning first. Right. I'm going to give you guys two types of text. The first one is an infographic. And second one is a newspaper article, and then try to look at the content of this. Right? Three simple ways to prevent transmitting virus to others. The first one is coughing. Second one is using mask. Number three is cleaning your hands. Always maintain good personal hygiene and cleanliness. This is the second text, and this is a newspaper text. Global virus cases exceeds 10 million, almost half a million dead as hard hit nations is lockdown measures. The first one is global corona cases exceeded 10 million according to a Reuters daily marking a major milestone in the spread of the respiratory disease that has so far killed almost half a million people in 7 months. Then blah blah blah. If we want to read more about this, we have to go through every and each, right? And if you are looking for specific information, you have to go through and go through all text, look for specific keywords. The same goes here. All right. If you want to read this very fast, you have to go through and then if once you find one specific keyword, then you are good to go with the rest of the information. Okay, now when you are reading these two texts, when do you think that you are doing skimming? When do you think that you are doing scanning? Right? Try to give a guess. Give us a guess. Right? Okay, now let's look at the definition of skimming and scanning. Skimming is a very fast reading. When you skim, you read to get the main ideas and a few, but not all of the details. To skim rapidly, you must leave out parts of an article or story, right? Although you are doing this, you are reading in a very fast pace and then you are leaving out, uh, I wouldn't say unrelevant, but then unwanted parts of the text. Actually, you are doing something very useful. It's not totally useless, it's not pointless, but it is a skill that we have to have when we want to respond to a set of questions. Regardless, it is a very useful skill because it allows you to get as much information in a very quick of time, in a very short of time from anything that you read, right? Okay, knowing this skill, knowing on how to apply this skill is going to make you a better reader, right? This is the I would have said the guidelines. I wouldn't say the procedure because procedure is something that you need to adhere. The I would say some guidelines on how to skim better, right? When you want to know the gist of something, you want to know what the text is all about, regardless whether it is a very long text like this one, or is a short text, is a simple text like this one. If you want to look for one specific or couple of specific informations, you just skim through this text, right? For example, what is the number of cases happening in, so the percentage of cases happening in North America, right? Latin America. So you just go through any specific numbers, you stop. There have been over 497,000 fatalities linked to the disease so far. So this one talk about the number of cases, right? Sorry, death cases, number of people die, right? Okay, that is when you are doing skimming. Sorry, no. That is when you are doing scanning. Skimming is just that you want to know what this article is all about, right? Meaning that this article, after that you have read everything in a very fast manner, you know that this article talk about number of dead people as well as number of cases of coronavirus all over the world, reported up until 29th June 2020, right? So if you are skimming, you know that this one, it elaborates on the techniques on how to prevent transmitting coronavirus to other people. That is what we call as skimming. But then when we are doing scanning, what does it mean by scanning? Scanning basically is when you go through a text looking for specific information, right? You want to locate a single fact or a specific bit of information without reading every part of the story, article, list, or document, right? You do this every single day or almost every single day, right? For example, if you want to scan for specific content of your Astro channel, what is showing on that specific channel, you just can go through something or look for the content or what is showing, then you move on. When you are going through your browsing, yeah, you are browsing the net, and then you are going through the perhaps one particular function of that one specific website function. You are looking for the function of that website or the purpose of that website. Then you are doing scanning, right? If you are looking for a particular name, telephone number, program, alphabets and number, date and time, you are doing scanning. So this is another example, another useful technique when you are reading something, when you are reading a text. Regardless, we always provide you with guidelines on how to scan a text so that you will know later on how to scan, on how to do this in a better manner or properly. Right, the first one is for you to read introduction of each exercise, right? Meaning that if you were to be given a text, usually an exercise, a text to an exercise, you just read the introduction to for every exercise that you get. And then complete the exercise by reading each question and scanning for answer. You go through the questions immediately. All right. You go through the questions given immediately instead of reading every and each paragraphs after that. After that. So, and then after that, but after you have gone through every and each question that they are going to ask you later, you know what are the keywords in every and each question. For example, they are going to ask you the first question, what the text is all about, right? Second question, point out any dates or any time. Third question, point out, you have to identify who are the invited speakers or invited guests, right, in that particular task. So you know you are looking for number one, the gist of the task, number two, date or time, number three, name of people, right, or name of a person. So you go back to your text, then you go through everything, and once you encounter this information, you just highlight them so that you could transfer them to the answer section. Right, so try to skim the stats. Palu, Indonesia, bright colored body bags were placed side by side in a freshly dug mass grave today. As a hard-hit Indonesian city began burying its dead from the devastating earthquake and tsunami that killed more than 840 people and left thousands homeless. The death toll, largely from the city of Palu, is expected to keep rising as areas cut off by the damage are reached. The magnitude 7.5 earthquake struck at dusk Friday and generated a tsunami said to have been as high as 6 meters in places. Local Army Commander Tiopan Aritonang said 545 bodies would be brought to the grave from one hospital alone. The trench dug in Palu was 10 meters by 100 meters and can be enlarged if needed, said William Rampanggile, Chief of Indonesia's National Disaster Mitigation Agency. Okay, now go to the question. What is the main idea of the second paragraph? Second paragraph talk about earthquake and tsunami in Palu. How many earthquake victims in Palu? Right. So now we are going to look for the number of victims. Okay, the one that they mention is that the victims they were more than 840 people. Who is the chief of Indonesia's National Disaster Mitigation Agency? And that gentleman is William Rampanggile. All right, so what you are doing over here is skimming the text. Okay, what is the disadvantages of skimming a text? Obviously, when you are skimming a text, you wouldn't be able to point out specific answers. All right, specific answers. That one is only possible when you are doing scanning, right? It's not to say that when you are reading something, it's just you are doing scanning or scanning or skimming. You could do both at the same time. After you skim something and you find it very useful, then you try to scan after that. Okay, it's just like one or the other. You could do both at the same time. Right after you skim, you find it very useful, the text is very useful, then you scan. Okay, the benefits of skimming and scanning, they are I would say four, at least components, four components, whether you are doing skimming or scanning. Right, the first one is speed. When you are doing skimming and scanning, you are going to be able to highlight information, extract information from a reading article, from a text reading in a brief time, meaning that in a short amount of time. And number two is that you are able to cover as many pages as you can within one particular time. Right, so it is called you want to read a storybook, you could read through so many within a particular time. And number three is efficiency. There is no time wasted for you to look for information in a book. Right, when you are doing scanning, immediately know that you are looking for something, you are looking for a number, you are looking for a date, then you just go through everything very quickly. Once you encounter a number or date or time, you stop and take your time to go through those things. Number four is comprehension. By skimming, It is going to improve your comprehension in reading. As a conclusion, skimming and scanning is used when you are reading, and these two, they are very useful techniques for you to master. All right. And then the benefit of this is that it's going to improve your comprehension when you are reading through text, regardless whether it is a short one, we call a short one, such as infographic or any nonlinear text, or is this a long one, such as an essay, right? Okay, now if you have any question, I think I'm going to give you some exercise, a brief exercise in regards to skimming and scanning. After this, all right, we are going to move on to the next section or the next topic, and that is contextual clues. All right, contextual clues. Okay, sometimes mm, knowing contextual clues is also another technique that is useful for you when you are doing your reading. And this is especially beneficial when you do not know, when you do not have a very wide vocabularies. Yeah, like vocabulary. Because contextual clues is going to help you in guessing what is the definition of some unfamiliar words that you encounter when you are reading, right? Okay, what does it mean? Context, like the name mentioned, like the name proposed, context is going to is the text around a new word, right? The context is the text around a new word, and then context is going to help us to understand a new meaning. A new word that we do not understand its meaning. For example, I'm going to give you this sample of sentence. We went inside to escape the frigid temperatures. We instantly felt so warm and cozy. No, sorry. Now you are going to know what is frigid. If you do not know before, you are going to have a little bit of, I would say, a little bit of idea of what does frigid means over here, right? You know that frigid is something that is very, very cold, right? Instead, because of the sentence after that, we instantly felt so warm and cozy, right? Okay. Clues. What does it mean by clues? Clues is the pieces of informations that help us understand something. For instance, when a detective finds clues or investigators find clues, they use these clues in order to solve crimes, right? Or for example, doctors use clues in order to solve any medical issues or any ailments that ailing the patients. As the same goes to us, when we do not understand any difficult words, we are going to use clues from the context in order to understand the words or the details. If you do not have the opportunity to use Google or to use the dictionary, I doubt that any of the students are using dictionary these days. All right, if you are using the net to help you or asking other people what is the definition of one particular difficult word. Okay, now putting together contextual clues is the pieces of information in the text that can help readers to understand words and details, right? Most of the time the other sentences, regardless before or after that one particular difficult word, is going to help you, right? Without referring to the context, you may not be able to guess correctly the meaning of the word correctly. as some of English words, they have different meanings when they are written in different contexts, right? Some some English word, they carries more than one meaning. For example, the first sentence, the bright morning light makes me feel energetic. So what does the light here means? Right? It means to the sun ray. Okay, number two, I like to bring this bag during traveling because it is light. Okay, now the meaning of light in the second sentence is totally different as compared when it is put in the first sentence. In the second sentence, light meaning that it is low in weight, meaning that it is not heavy. The first one I have explained earlier, light refers to the sun rays. All right, and the second one, light refers to the uh, refers that it is not very heavy. It is not heavy at all. Okay, so if I were to give you just the word light, you might another student might interpret as the first one, or another students might interpret the word as the second definition. So when I give you a sentence based on the context of the sentence, you could understand which definitions that I am referring to, whether the first one or the second one. Right. So the next part is that I'm going to explain to you on the location of the clues. Contextual clues provides you could have guessed the meaning of the word based on a couple of locations, because usually it is not fixed on one specific location. Okay, let's look at these examples. I have at least how many examples over here? Three. All right. Okay, look at these examples. The first one, every book has the same basic structure or organization of parts. Okay, if somebody do not know what does it mean by structure, within the same sentence, we could find the definition, right, or its meaning. It means organization of parts, right? So number two, the project has many drawbacks. However, the problem will not affect its progress. Okay, now the difficult word for some people might be drawbacks. Drawbacks. However, the clues could only be found in the next sentence, right? However, the problems referring to the drawbacks. So we could have guessed that drawbacks meaning problems. Okay, the next one. So for the first example, the clues lies within the same sentence. The second sentence, the clues lies in the sentence after that. The Harry Potter, this is the third example. The Harry Potter series is the most popular among children. They are eager to get the latest sequence. Right? Okay, now the difficult word is sequence. What does it mean by sequence? If you do not know, you would have guessed that it means series, something that appear in one or more than one books, all right, or more than one more than one movie, all right, more than one book or more than one movie, and that is called a series or sequence. All right, for this case, you could see that the clues is actually in the sentence before this, right? So for the location of the clues, it might appear within the same sentence, the sentence after that, or the sentence before that. Right? This is in regards to the location. So if you have any problem, and if you encounter any difficult problem, try to locate the clues in these three locations. Right? Okay, now, uh, so apart from the location, there are many types of contextual clues that you should know. Right? So these are the other clues that that you should know in order to help you to locate, to guess the definition of the word. The first one is by giving, sometimes the writer give out a synonym to that one particular difficult word, or give out its antonym, or just straight out define the definition, give out the definition of this one, that one specific word. Explanation is number four. Give out examples. If the fifth type, experience, talk about the experience of something, is the sixth, and last but not least is general cues. General clues. Okay, now let's look at each and every type of contextual clues. The first one is synonym. As easy as that, or authors is going to give out a synonym to that one specific word. All right, for example, over here, we cannot win this debate if our argument is fallacious. What does it mean by fallacious? We do not know. And then we are feeling lazy, sometimes lazy, to look up for the answer. All right, so for the definition. So the author has directly given out its synonym in the sentence after that. The judges don't like any misleading statements, so you could correlate the word fallacious and misleading, right? They mean not quite true. As simple as that. Number two, give out some antonym. Antonym. Although some students in my class are industrious, others are plain lazy. So, what does it mean by industrious? Lazy versus industrious. You know that it means hardworking. So, this is antonym. Number three is strictly give out definition. Esprit de corps is this, or the spirit of working together. I mean, you could instantly see the definition of something. It's encouraged among UITM lecturers. So you know the esprit de corps, meaning the spirit of working together. Explanation. Turtles are on the verge of extinction. Turtles are on the verge of extinction. Perhaps our children may not see these creatures in the future as they won't exist anymore. With this explanation, you can guess that the extinction means won't exist anymore. Number five, give out examples. For example, celestial bodies such as the sun, the moon, and stars have been studied by great astrologers. You know that celestial bodies refers to this type of subjects. These are types of objects. Okay. Experience. Not wearing a seatbelt in a moving car can be hazardous. You might lose your life or have serious injuries if accidents occur. So you know that hazardous meaning that something that you lose your life or have a serious injuries. Hazardous meaning dangerous. Okay. Last but not least is that give out general clues. For example, Siti Nurhaliza was a stunning pair of shoes designed by Jimmy Choo. It was creatively decorated with red rubies and blue sapphires. The combination of the colors match Siti's complexion perfectly. Siti was a Cinderella of the night. So you know that the word creatively decorated rubies, sapphires mesh perfectly, meaning that Siti was stunningly or extraordinary beautiful during that particular night, on that night, right? So that what it meant by general clues. Okay, I guess that is all for contextual clues. All right. By this time, you know that when you encounter any difficult word when you are reading, especially during tests, try to find the clues, whether within the same sentence or the sentence next or the sentence before. so that you could guess. You could guess what does it mean by that one particular word. Yeah. Okay. That is all. I'm going to give out some exercise after this. Make sure that you go through the exercise as well as take your attendance on your future. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.